this week's programmes on radio and television.
Later this evening, there'll be a party political broadcast on behalf of the Conservative Party. It will be given by George Bryan.
On Tuesday, Dr. Death and Mick McManus will be talking about the excitement of wrestling with Lady Summerskill.
And finally, on BBC Two, David Attenborough will show you a film of the life and habits of the natives at the television centre.
Meanwhile, for those of you more easily pleased, here is 30 minutes of clumsy tomfoolery as we take you round the horn. The story so far. The tumbril rolled through the streets of Paris, bound for the dreaded Madame Guillotine, played by dreaded Madame Bill Pertwee in drag. Lovely, white-throated, swan-necked aristocrat Kenneth Williams clung to her father. Crusty, snaggle-toothed old roue Betty Marsden. The screaming mob, played by screaming Hugh Paddock in a greasy tree-corn, shrieked vile obscenities, which were cut at rehearsal. And the sinister drums, played by Edwin Braden's sinister drummer, and available for bar mitzvahs and weddings, beat out their sinister message. Beneath the guillotine crouched a tattered, wizened old crone, knitting. And as the blade fell, she raised her head and cackled,
"My name's Kenneth Horne." That was Douglas Smith, a nightclub hostess of no fixed abode, who appears by permission of the Run of Kutch Darts Club and 5-Minute Car Wash. Well now, here first are the answers to last week's quiz. Question 1, nautical codes, and the answer was in 3 parts. You can do it with a rocket, you can tap it out, or you can dress it overall with bunting. Or if that doesn't work out, lower a small boy smeared with honey. Now, the next question was, complete the titles of these plays or films as you. Well, the answer was as you like it, and not as you would wish to find it. Then there was Cat on a Hot. Well, of course, that was Tin Roof and Not Hot Brick. And the third title was She Stoops To. Now, the answer was, of course, Conquer, and I got some very original replies to this. But, to be honest, most of you were wildly improvising. Now, once again, we have in the studio the man who is the self-appointed head of an autonomous kingdom within Great Britain, Mr.
Grant Fattock.
Ah, yes.
Grant Fattock. King Grant Fattock, monarch of all Peasmoldia. Yes.
As king, are you often asked to make public appearances?
Oh, gracious, yes. Hardly a day goes by when I don't appear in front of the public or the saloon bar. And I do the spoons, you know.
You, yeah.
Yes, my gracious queen, beloved mother of the empire, goes round with a cap. I sing songs of an incoherent and suggestive nature to wit and viz. Let's all go round to Mary Ann and tickle a tune upon her piano.
What did you say? Thank you, madam. You've got a lucky face, sir. Bless you, sir, bless you. Ah, good luck, young miss. Lovely, lovely then.
I believe you've had the pleasure of Her Royal Highness with my good Lady Queen Buttercup. Give Mr. Horne the royal greeting.
Hello, cheeky face.
I told you before not to say that, it cheapens you. See, Mr. Horne, she's not a natural aristocrat of the blood like I am. The Grant Fattocks go back into the mists of antiquity, you know. They do.
Yes,
they go right back. Yes. It's a Roman name. Grant Fatocius. Yes, that's true. The name means noble of brow and furtive of hand. Yes. actually, yes, I've incorporated it into the family crest, emblazoned with the motto, per linctus ad phosphomus est.
Oh, what does that mean?
I don't know, we got it off a label of a bottle of medicine.
Dr. Catamol's celebrated horse purge.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Horne, I'm afraid the audience isn't at end. We must away. We have a formal court appearance to make. We're up for receiving stolen horse meat at Bow Street.
Well, I hope everything turns out all
Oh,
right.
don't worry, mate. Don't you worry, mate. Oh, no. I shall claim the divine right of kings, and if that don't work, I shall plead the headaches. Come on, Buttercup, lace up your boots. We're going.
But you're late.
And what a glittering regal pair of pantaloons they are, aren't they?
And now, combining the best elements of spy thrillers such as Thunderball and The Man with the Golden Gun, we present Kenneth Horne as The Man with the Golden Thunderball.
I just finished a case. I relaxed by the water's edge at Captain Grimsby and sipped from my finely fluted crystal glass of oatmeal stout. I lay back with that feeling of well-being that only comes from complete and utter drunkenness. My ears started to ring. I picked one up and answered it. Hello, Mick Jagger here.
Stop that wishful thinking, Horne. This is Haverstrap here, MI5. I've got Brown Horrocks here. He wants a word with you.
Hey, Horne.
Hello, Brown Horrocks.
I've been trying to get you. Where on earth have you been? Do you realize I've been on the blower all morning?
Big deal.
Absolutely essential you get back to London immediately. Have you got transport?
Yes, sir, I got my 2.4 drop-head announcer here. I'll leave right away. And with that, I leapt onto Douglas Smith's back, slid him into first gear, did a fast racing change, and roared away.
Rum, 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 beep, 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 rum, rum.
Can you do sheep as well? All right, we know you do. All right.
10 minutes later in London.
10 minutes?
I took a short cut through Luton. It's not such a pretty...
All right. Oh, dear. What an announcer. Now, where was I? Oh, yes, I strode into HQ up to a door marked private and strode in without knocking.
Horne.
Brown Horrocks, I didn't realize you were busy.
Miss Golightly and I were engaged on top-secret work. I trust you'll keep it top-secret.
Yes.
A memo, you understand, to the PM. About his latest crisis.
What's up, sir?
You remember they took off a show called Not So Much a Program?
Yes.
Well, something dashed funny's been going on.
You don't mean and so to Ted, do you?
No, I don't. No, you remember there was a terrible fuss about why it was taken off. We were never given the real reasons. We found out why. I'll just take this dust sheet off here. Now, look at this figure.
Good gracious, David Frost.
Looks like David Frost, doesn't he? But look, you can unscrew his head. You see?
Then the resemblance is perfect. What is it, a robot?
Precisely. Perfect down to the last detail. At least I don't know Mr. Frost that well, but... As you can see, there's a mole on his hip.
A live one?
Oh, no. Just a clever facsimile. Now, here, help me to get his vest off,
right.
You? Now, you see this panel? Just prise it open so. And inside, a small common or garden talking doll device. So, in fact, the person we all thought was David Frost is, in fact, merely a lifelike robot. But we don't know what's happened to the real David Frost. Now, under this dust sheet, you see this figure? Mm-hmm. We'll just give it a push so, and...
Cretin. They're all cretins. Everyone's a cretin except me.
Bernard Levin.
Not the real Bernard Levin, but a robot.
How can you tell?
Very simple. We discovered on examining him that there was a screw loose. Otherwise, it's perfect. The real Levin could be anywhere. Somebody's kidnapped the real panel and substituted grisly grinning effigies in place of the grisly grinning originals.
Who?
Well, we do have one slight clue. There's a label on each one that says Empire Made. Manufactured by Q.N. Ginsberg Novelty Corporation, Hong Kong, Limited.
Yes, well, not much to go on, but I think we might find our answer in... Chipping Sodbury.
Now, I think you're wrong, Horne.
Oh, well, in that case, I'll try Hong Kong.
Well, good luck, Horne.
Smith, announce me to Hong Kong.
10 seconds later, in the Street of 1,000 Artifacts, Hong Kong.
Yes, thank you, Smith. As I pushed my way through the throng, I had a sudden feeling I was being followed. Behind me was an old mandarin. He stood watching me, stroking his pigtail, which hung from the back of his pig, attached to his watch chain. He appraised me coolly. I appraised his coolly. A huge giant of a man. He came for me and we grappled. I gave him a quick cross buttock and he didn't like that at all. He sprawled back and then leapt at me with a karate chop.
One karate chop coming up with double portion of big beans on the side.
And then something hit me and I went headfirst down the slope to oblivion. Some time later, I came to find a pair of cool grey eyes staring into mine. An oval face swam into view framed by long blonde hair. It was either the most beautiful girl I'd ever seen or Jimmy Savile. The vision spoke.
You know who I am, Mr. Horne?
The most beautiful girl I've ever seen.
No, Jimmy Savile. No, please, no relation to the disc jockey.
Oh.
Just a remarkable coincidence.
Our eyes met, a shiver crept down my back, ran round my waist, and hid in my navel. She moved towards me, her lips puckered. I knew that this was it. She was either going to kiss me or whistle in a monastery garden. I pulled her down towards me and then... I suppose you think that's funny. I realized what she was up to. The whistle was a signal to warn Q.N. Ginsberg. I had to get out of here. But first there was something I had to do. I took her into my arms and pressed her to my... Smith!
Yes, sir?
You know the drill.
Oh, dear, yes. 2 weeks later.
2 weeks?
Well, why not? It's only fiction.
Ah, yes.
2 weeks later, Master Spy Kenneth Horne waddled nimbly up the stairs to the study of the fiendish doctor.
Come in. Ah, Mr. Horne, what brings you to Kowloon?
Well, we're on to your little game. We know what you've been up to.
It's a pack of lies. It's lies. Cannot prove anything. Was merely trying to help young lady onto bus. It's not my fault. No, it's not. I tell you, Mr. Horne, you see, I'm short-sighted. I have good war record, decorated for bravery in kamikaze. Told constable, most sorry, and pleaded Japanese headaches.
Look, I'm not talking about that incident.
Oh!
No. I'm talking about your kidnapping the not-so-much-a program panel.
Ah!
Yes, and substituting dummies in their place.
Ah!
In an attempt to discredit the BBC.
Ah! Yes, I have them prisoners here.
Now, look here.
One moment, aha! Before coming to honorable tag of miserable sketch, we have entertainment. I will summon a most desirable geisha, Lotus Blossom. Ah, Lotus Blossom, most beautiful flower of East.
Yes, Gov. I await your command, O mighty Mandarin, and come bringing a hint of Eastern promise.
And more than a hint of garlic, too.
Feast your Eyes upon her, Mr. Horne. In all province of Kowloon, there is no maiden whose radiance and beauty and exquisite proportions can compare to Lotus Blossom.
Really?
Yes, things very bad in Kowloon. Sing for us, my little bamboo shoot. One of your plaintive traditional airs, that our ears may be assailed with 1,000 delights as the tinkling cadences of the nightingale's sweet tones waft us to nirvana. After me, a one, a two.
If you don't want the Wilkes, don't muck around. Keep the baby's fingers off the slab. You don't know where.
Very good. Yes. Thank you very much. Don't call us, we'll call you. And now, Mr. Horne, on with the plot.
All right, you grinning devil, the game's up. This small bore Douglas Smith I'm holding is loaded and I'm not afraid to use it.
I don't believe you. It is a trick.
Right, you forced me to do this. Right, Smith?
Yes, sir. Bang, bang.
Well, Dr. Chuen Ginsberg.
All right, I know what you want. I will do it. I'll release David Frost and send him back to England. That's what you've come for, isn't it?
Good heavens, no. I've come on behalf of the government to ask you to keep him here. Well, that's the end of the story, but somehow I feel we haven't heard the last of...
Dr. Chuen Ginsberg, M.A., failed. Goodbye.
Goodbye. Well, now, here are another 4 lifelike effigies with an ingenious device so that when you press a button, they sing a track from their new LP, Maria Callas Goes Pop. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fraser Hayes 4.
Sing this song, doo-dah, doo-dah. Camptown racetrack 5 miles long, oh, doo-dah day. I came down there where my hat caved in, doo-dah, doo-dah. I go back home with a pocket full of tin, oh, doo-dah day. Wanna run all night, wanna run all day. Bet my money on a bobtail nag, somebody bet on the bay. Long-tail filly and a big black horse, doo-dah, doo-dah. Flying the track and they both got across, oh, doo-dah day. The blind horse sticking in a big mud hole, doo-dah, doo-dah. Can't touch a bottom with a 10-foot pole, oh, doo-dah day. Wanna run all night, wanna run all day. I'll bet my money on a bobtail nag, somebody bet on the bay. Oh, muley cow came on the track, doo-dah, doo-dah. Bobtail fling her over his back, oh, doo-dah day. Then flying along like a railroad car, doo-dah, doo-dah. Running a race with a shooting star, oh, doo-dah day. 10-mile heat, round the racetrack, then repeat. I win my money on a bobtail nag. I got my money in an auto bag. Wanna run all night, wanna run all day. I'll bet my money on a bobtail nag. Somebody, somebody, somebody bet on the bay.
And now, trends.
This is the part of the show for the trendy young moderns, the people who are fused, as opposed to people of my generation who badly need rewiring. Now, first, trends in health. With the pressures of modern living, most people have forgotten how to relax. In the studio with me tonight, we have the author of a new book describing a new method of relaxation, Dr. Gaylord Hemoglobin. Now, Doctor.
What's up? What's happened?
Well, now, would you tell us something about your method for relaxation?
Well, it's all to do with the nerves. The nerves!
Yes, no. You feeling all right?
In heaven's name, stop badgering, man. Don't keep on and on. What are you staring at? Why are you looking at me like that? What are you planning to do? You're carrying a flick knife. I know you are. I warn you, one step towards me and I shall scream.
Look, I'm only just trying to... I'm sorry you seem a bit on edge.
I'm all right. I'm all right!
Yes, now, Dr. Hemoglobin, what actually does your method of relaxation consist of?
Well, in moments of stress that modern life is so full of, what I always do is...
That's what I should. I'm afraid I didn't quite hear.
I said I locked the door, jump into bed and pull the covers over my head. They can't get you there, you know. But things, horny little things with feet. Yes, that's what I do. In less than 12 hours, I'm fast asleep. Calm, peaceful, and utterly relaxed. Relaxed, I tell you, relaxed. I'm relaxed. I know what to do. I know how to relax. I'm sorry.
Well, thank you. Oh, well. I feel better already, I think. Now, trends in music. Here again is that doyen of folk singers whose homespun tunes have made him one of the highest paid entertainers in the country. Rambling Sid Rumper.
Thank you very much. Well, since I last been here, I've been a rambling and a wandering and a gypsying up and down the country, driving of my continental Bentley-o. Dilly-dally daffy down my dingle-o.
I beg your pardon?
I'm just being picturesque. You see, it's an affectation o, a doodle-o, a rough-a-duff, folly-roll-de-lido, chirrup. Now, I'm going to sing you a sad sea shanty sung by the herring fishermen of Hampstead Garden suburb. It's a very plaintive lament on account of Hampstead Garden suburb be landlocked, side of things. And this song tells the story of a poor fisherman what comes home one night with an empty net, and his wife says to him, "What have you caught me, Billy-o? What have you caught me, darling Willie?" To which he answers, "Nary a one, me Susie-o, but I bought a tin of sardines from the supermarket up And then he sings, "Heave away me hearties, oh, pull away me dando, with a yo-ho-ho and a ha-ha-ha, with a hey down, daddy down, the wind blows free."
Thank you. Thank you, Rambling Sid Rumper. You know,
very nice,
yes, when I hear you sing like that, it makes me want to throw off the trammels of civilization and belch you one with a marlinspike. Now, trends in the home. Recently I saw an advertisement in a Sunday paper which said, "Why not get with it in the garden?" So I thought, with the summer coming, it was time to have my garden replanned. So I phoned this firm, Boner Homes and Landscape Gardens. And the next day, their representatives came around.
Oh, hello, I'm Julian. This is my friend Sandy.
That's right. We're Boner Homes, incorporating Fabe Gardens.
Yes.
Just filling in, actually, between acting jobs. We've just been in that commercial where there's me and Julian sat in this car, and then all these horse guards go trotting by.
Yeah, and then Sam turns, looks at me, and we both change to filter tips.
Yes. He took his part lovely. Now, let's have a barger at this garden of yours.
Well, it's through here.
Oh, it's nasty. Oh, I couldn't be doing with a garden like this, could you, June?
I could not.
No, those horrible little nest gnomes.
Oh, no. It's a bit noddy in Toyland, isn't it? And all that grass, that'll have to go. I mean, grass in a garden, sands.
Oh, trays passe. No, the mind bogles.
Boggle?
Yes. Well, what do you suggest?
Paving, that's what we suggest. That's the answer. Paving, isn't
Crazy?
it?
Absolutely. Oh, you can have your various types of stone. Show him your brochure, Jules.
Oh, yes. Well, you see, you have here you've got your Florentine marble.
Comes lovely in the Florentine.
Oh, beautiful.
Lovely Florentine marble.
Or you have your ceramics.
Or Fabe ceramics, Fabe. All hand done by a disciple of William Morris in Ladbroke Grove. Or Jewel. Wait a minute, Jewel.
What?
How'd you see his patio?
Well, wait a minute now, wait. Hang on a minute.
Yes?
Hang on, it's all happening in here.
Yes.
Here, I've got it.
Yes.
I've got it.
Yes.
I have got
Yes.
it.
Yes.
Terrazza.
Oh, fantabulosa. Yes. And then maybe I could do something wild with a couple of creepers up his trellis. I'm beginning to see it. Go on, Jewel.
What about something decadent? A sunken bird bath.
Oh!
Well, I'm afraid I don't know any sunken birds.
Now go on, Jewel. Go on. It's beginning, Jewel.
Yes.
Coming, Jewel.
Singing,
Beginning to sing.
Singing,
Yes.
Don't
Go
rush,
on.
don't rush.
No.
Don't.
Yes.
It's beginning to come over me in waves.
Oh, waves.
You know how I get it, in the waves. I see it as a miniature version of the Piazza in Florence.
Oh!
That's how I see it.
Yes. Wait, no.
Yes.
You can't have... It won't work. No.
Why?
Well, you can't have a mock Tudor house with an Italian at Piazza out the back.
Well, what do you suggest we do?
Only one thing for it. The whole house will have to come down.
All right. You know, I shall miss that house. Still, they're very decent about it. They're leaving me the tool shed up in the garden for me to sleep in. Finally, the winner of our limerick competition. Now, the winning entry came from Harvey K. of 34 Parklands Drive, N3, and goes like this. A very rude boy from Lahore wrote the following words on a door. Well, now, next week's competition... It starts as follows. A monkey who lived in the zoo got terribly bored with a view. And I will repeat that. A monkey who lived in the zoo got terribly bored with a view, and all you have to do is to complete the limerick and answers, please, on a postcard to Round the Horne, care of BBC, London, W1. And to the sender of the best postcard goes this week's prize of an electric toothbrush, especially designed for people with electric teeth. Cheerio. See you next week. Bye.
That was Round the Horne, starring Kenneth Horne, with Kenneth Williams, Hugh Paddick, Betty Marsden and Bill Pertwee. On the musical side, you heard the Fraser Hayes Four and Edwin Braden and the Hornblowers. The script was written by Barry Tooke and Marty Feldman and produced by John Simmons. Now, here are details of some of this week's programmes on radio and television.
On Saturday, BBC Television brings you the logical sequel to The Flying Swan. It's called The Dead Duck.
On Tuesday night, old-time dancing comes from the new over-70s discotheque, the Whiskey Our Go-Go, or Do the Best You Can.
And finally, at midnight, it's And So to Bed with Edmundo Ross and his nephew...
Meanwhile, for those of you who are more easily pleased, here's 30 minutes of rudely wrought claptrap as we take you round the horn. Story so far. Handsome, mustachioed Colonel Betty Marsden, of the 1st Rajputan Foot and Mouth, sat idly kicking his native bearer, old Ram Singh, played by Sikh Bill Pertwee with a Sikhly grin. Suddenly the door burst open, and there, framed in the doorway, stood his lovely Titian-haired daughter, played by lovely hairy-Titian Hugh Paddock. "Father," she cried, "someone has stolen the eye of the little yellow idol, played by little yellow bone idol Kenneth Williams, with a jewel in his navel." At that moment, the hoary, lantern-jawed face of the high priest appeared at the window. He screeched out a foul Hindu curse, which loses a little in the translation, but roughly means...
My name's Kenneth Horne. That was Douglas Smith, spinster of this parish. Now, the answers to last week's quiz. Question 1, complete these song titles. Well, the answer to question A, Give Me Thee, was, of course, The Moonlights, and not the Screaming Habdabs, as one of you wrote. Question B, Button Up Your. Well, of course, it was Overcoat, and I will definitely not accept any other suggestions. Finally, the third song title was All the Nice Girls Love A. Well, I won't weary you with the replies I got, but they'd make Sir Cyril Black's hair stand on end. And I wish they'd do the same to mine. The answer to What All the Nice Girls Love is, of course, a sailor, and not a saga maker's bottom knocker. Apart from anything else, it doesn't rhyme, does it? All the nice girls love a saga maker's bottom knocker. So you see, Mr. J.G. of Rotherhithe, I'm not just victimizing you. Now, once again, we have with us in the studio the self-appointed King of Peasmoldia, which, as you probably know, is Railway Sidings Hoxton, and as far up Buttermold Street as the pub. Here he is, King...
Grant Fattock, yes. Grant Fattock, ex-king Grant Fattock.
Ex-king?
Yes, I have abdicated off the throne. You see, the voices did speak unto me, the voices, and they did say, Grant Fattock, my child. They said, my lamb, they said. Arise now, lay down your orb and sceptre, and abdicate off out of it. And while you're out, get the race in pink and see what won the 3:30. So I did obey the voices, and now I'm plain ordinary dictator, Grant Fattock of Peasmoldia. We are now a republic.
Oh, I see.
Yes.
I see, so you're a despot.
I don't go looking for it.
And tell me, Dictator Grant Fattock, why have you taken this step?
Well, they wouldn't give me my own nuclear deterrent. I asked nice enough. I went up the bus, on the bus. I went up on the bus to Whitehall, and I asked this man sat on horse, I said, please, could I have my own nuclear deterrent? I said, and he said, go and sling your hook out of it. I even give his horse a knob of sugar, what I nicked off the coffee stall up the road, but he was still adamant. See, the British government won't recognise us, you see. The Harold Wilson, he won't recognise me, here's the trouble. The only one who recognises me is the man in the all-night chemist. He recognised me. He said, oh, it's you, King Grant Fattock, he said. I've had orders not to serve you with paraffin. He said, how, I inquired, and why, may I ask? He says, 'cause you drink it. I don't drink it. I just set fire to things with it. The parlour curtains and that class of thing. And I'm going to war with England.
That's rather drastic, isn't it?
I've tried reasoning with the... You still here?
Yeah.
I've tried reasoning with the British government, but all to no avail. I even phoned up Barbara Castle and breathed Debbie down the phone. I did. but they've all disregarded my overtures, and now my patience is exhausted. And as soon as my brother-in-law, Field Marshal Monty Thrupp, gets out the nick, we shall march.
And how many did you have in your army?
Well, all told, our combined strength, including the Naval Reserve and the carriers, as were all two. Plus, of course, my dog Fido is a nasty brute. He is. You haven't seen my dog, have you?
No, I haven't.
I got no teeth, but if he gets his gums into you, you know all about it. I'll give you a nasty suck. Yes. All girding up our loins at this very moment. We're all girding up our loins, excepting Fido. Poor old devil, he can hardly walk, let alone gird up his loins. Nevertheless, beware Great Britain. His Moldia is on the march.
Well, you have been warned, people of Britain. I'm sure you're all as underwhelmed as I am by this appalling news.
No, a story so startling, so revealing, so abysmally inept that only we dare tell it. The big one, the story that leaves off where the others begin. We proudly and furtively present Kenneth Horne, Special Agent.
Leave in Paris on half pay, or as the French call it, demi-pension. I sat at a table in a gay cafe in the Rue de la Danny, listening to the cheerful screams of the pedestrians as they were clubbed by passing gendarmes. The garçon brought me a menu. I ran my eye down it as I picked my aperitif. Then the waiter spoke.
Please don't pick your pair of teeth here, sir. The noise is driving me crazy. What would you like to drink, Mr. Horne?
Well, I'll have my usual, Jacques, a vodka martini. And remember, the glass should be chilled to exactly 20 degrees Fahrenheit, not centigrade. And as to the vermouth, it should be Cresta Gondolfo, which is produced in Lima, Peru, from an old Incl recipe. And if you haven't got that, I'll have a milk stout.
Oui, monsieur. Oh, monsieur, someone just asked me to give you this message.
He slipped me a piece of paper. On it were the cryptic words, green parakeet to cuckoo clock. Farmer's wife startled by travelling salesman. I looked it up in my code book. Translated, it read, stop hanging it out, Horne, get on with the plot, phone me at once. And it was signed simply, Brown Horrocks. There was no time to waste. I went to the nearest Douglas Smith and dialed a number.
Beep, beep, beep. Sorry, I'm engaged.
I pressed his button B and 4 pennies fell out of his waistcoat. I dialed again. Hello, Brown Horrocks, Horne here.
Ah, Horne. The Surety has asked for your help. Someone has stolen the Eiffel Tower. There's nothing left but a hole in the ground.
Good heavens, this could undermine the whole French economy.
Precisely. I mean, take the tourist trade. The souvenir shops are having to sell small gilt reproductions of a hole in the ground. We want you to find the Eiffel Tower, and find it quick.
I knew there was only one man capable of a crime of this magnitude, the fiendish, inscrutable Japanese mastermind, Dr. Chu-En Ginsberg. He had to be in Paris somewhere. I decided to try the sleazy left bank night spot that he owned, and quickly disguising myself with a shoulder-length curly ginger wig, I set off for the club. As I strolled along the Bois de Boulogne with my independent hair, I had a feeling I was being followed. I looked round, and there, standing behind me, was a menacing Apache. Suddenly, and without any warning, he made a lunge for me, and we sat and ate it on the grass. Gossiping merrily and talking over old times, I thanked him and tipped him lavishly into the Seine. Waving aside his grateful screams, I hurried on.
Bars of ragged music later, found Special Agent Horne in the bar of the Moulin d'Or.
A girl dressed in a slinky dress that slunk all the way up to her thigh pushed through the crowd towards me.
Hello, darling.
Have we met?
Oh, yes, surely you remember. I am Edna Lemoko, daughter of Pepe Lemoko. Have you got the Grisby?
No, it's just a rash, I think. Change of water, I imagine, yes. I've come to see the owner, Chu-En Ginsberg.
He is in the back room meditating. He left instructions not to be disturbed. Would you care to...
Would I care to what?
I don't know. The next line has been cut out by the producer.
Well, whatever it was, let's try it.
Many times, many times.
Smith!
Oh, dear, here I go again. Always the bridesmaid. All right, 4 weeks later.
4 weeks?
Yes, and you'll need every moment of it. I saw the line that was cut.
Oh. Remember to tip the writers, I think.
4 weeks later, in the opium den of Chu-En Ginsberg, behind the bar.
Come in. Ah, Horne.
Ah, Chu.
Bless you. You should take something for that. Would you care for a puff of pipe that brings exquisite visions of great beauty and deep dreams of peace and contentment and enchanting visions of exotic maidens?
The dreaded poppy?
No, old Dobson's curly cap. 4 3 an ounce. We'll summon Lotus Blossom to fill pipe for you. Ah! The lovely almond-eyed geisha, Lotus Blossom.
Yes, Gov, what's your pleasure?
Whatever it is, you wouldn't complete it, mate.
You hear that? It's gratitude, isn't it? I give him the best years of my life and he treats me like a trollop.
Dare not be petulant, my little poppy seed. Come, let us blossom, let us be gay and merry. Sing us that traditional Japanese melody that tells story of samurai warrior that returns from battle with dragon to house of honorable mother and beseeches her to join in the traditional dance, expressing filial love. After me, a 1, a 2.
And he's up my brown. Under the table you must go. Hey, hi, hi, hi.
Quick, pass me the opium pipe.
If I catch a penguin.
Yes, all right, thank you very much. Thank you, Lotus Blossom. Yeah. Yeah, we'll let you know. Now, Mr. Horne, why are you here?
I know your little game.
It's all a misunderstanding. I'm victim of police persecution. Merely climbed 3 outside girls' house to rescue her. Merely coincidence. Girl was taking bath in window opposite. Yes, the binoculars can be easily explained. Had just been to Ascot. Explained to constable, but arrested. One false step and they hound you for the rest of your life. It's not fair. Only one honourable course left open. I must go to join my ancestors.
Harakiri?
No, brother-in-law in Bogna. But you have not heard the last of Dr. Chu-En Ginsberg, M.A. Failed. Goodbye.
And with that, he leapt onto the windowsill, and with a last dreadful cry...
So.
He jumped into the Seine and swam off. He was tried in his absence and found guilty, but insane. The Eiffel Tower was never found. We believe that it was broken up into parts and smuggled out. In its place was put a life-sized cardboard cutout of General de Gaulle with his legs astride. And so far, nobody's noticed the difference. So if anybody tries to sell you an enormous Meccano set, phone Whitehall 1212. And if that's engaged, phone Arthur Tramwicket at Ipswich 205027. He's got nothing to do with the case, but he'd appreciate a call, as nobody ever phones him and he's very lonely. And now, here are 4 life-size cardboard cutouts of a vocal group who are going to sing a track from their new LP, Doing the Monkey with Ram Gopal, the Fraser Hayes 4.
Lover, oh, where can you be? Lover, please come back to me. The sky was blue and high above. The moon was new and so was love. This eager heart of mine was singing. Lover, where can you be? You came at last, love had its day. That day is past, you've gone away. This aching heart of mine is singing. Lover, come back to me. Remembering every little thing we used to say and do. I'm so lonely. Every road I walk along, I've walked along with you. No wonder I am oh so lonely. Sky is blue and the night is cold. The moon is new, but love is old. And while I'm waiting here, this heart of mine is singing. Lover, come back to me, lover. Where can you be, lover? Come back to me.
Now, trends.
This is the part of the show for the trendy people who are going places and are with it. And if you're going places without it, well, I hope you find some when you get there. First, the theatre. The 30s revival continues. Latest to enter the field is a production of Present Encounter, starring Dame Celia Mole Strangler and aging juvenile Binky Huckaback. Here is an excerpt.
You came then, Charles.
Yes, Fiona.
I knew you would.
I knew you knew I would.
I know you know I knew you would. And yet I was uncertain. Heart quakingly, lip tremblingly, butterfly stomachly uncertain. And yet positive. And you, Charles?
I was positive too. Resolutely, doggedly, stiff upper lippedly, teeth grittedly positive. And yet, somehow, uncertain. Do you mind if I join you at a table?
Should you?
Should not. Mere words, Fiona. Who knows what one should do, or knowing, do it? Whether one should or know, or should not do it? Knowing whether one should or not, all I know is I must.
Oh, Charles, if it were only that simple. It's somehow wrong. Irresponsibly, compromisingly wrong for you to be seen at my table. Charles, darling, don't look at me like that. Charles, you mustn't hold my hand in that way. Charles, you mustn't. Oh, Charles, you mustn't.
I must, Fiona. I must.
Oh, please, Charles. The other diners are watching us.
Then why did you call me? Was it just a caprice, a whim, a vagary of fancy, a will-o'-the-wisp at dinner, a mad, irrepressible moment of antic impulse?
No, Charles, no. You know why I called you.
Tell me. Tell me, in heaven's name, Fiona, tell me. Put me out of this awful suspense.
Well, I'll have the brown Windsor followed by the steak and chips, waiter.
What a tide of ungovernable indifference that evokes, doesn't it? And now, again we have with us that doyen of folk singers, Rambling Sid Rumpo. Now, hello, Mr. Rumpo, and where have your wanderings taken you this week?
Over hill, over dale, through fields and byres, along the Watford bypass out. Reach me down a doodle-o, diddle-o, and day down chirrup, chirrup. I'm just being ethnic again.
Oh, yeah.
Well, me dearie-o, I've been a-rummaging through my rucksack, and just under me second-best pair of rucks, I found a half-forgotten old folk song. That is, I've forgotten half of it, but I'll sing you the rest. It's a Cornish lummock waggler's song, which is sung in the village of Tin Paget every lummock waggling time, which, of course, is the time of the vernal equinox after the pubs have shut. The young men of Tin Paget don their colourful lummock breeches and go waggling up the high street, knocking on doors, a-singing, I am the merry lummock waggler, I play thee a forfeit, O. Be your daughter coming out a woggle picking. To which the lady of the house traditionally replies, sling your hook, O waggler man, or else I'll call the police, O.
Yes, sounds fascinating,
Aye. And then the waggler men dance about waggling their lummocks and singing this refrain. Goes like, oh, who'll come a-waggling this fine night when the moon is shining bright, oh, for the lummocks be ripening on the russet bough, and we're in for a fine, fine night, oh, with a riddle-o, rattle-o, fo-hey-ha, and a twiddle-patch and nettle-rash-day-ho.
Well, thank you, Rambling Sid Rumpo.
Thank you, me dearie-o.
I was reading in the paper the other day that a well-known starlet had acquired a pet alligator. Now, this seems to be the in thing these days, exotic pets. And, well, you know me, I don't like to be left behind, so I popped into a rather unusual new pet shop that's opened in Chelsea. It was called Boner Pets. Hello, shop. Anyone there?
Hello, I'm Julian. This is my friend Sandy.
Excuse us being uncovered in here, but we've just been stripping a borzoi.
Well, well, at least we thought it was the borzoi. When we stripped him, we found it was just a hairy whippet.
Well, I must say it's unusual finding you working in a place like this.
Oh, we're just filling in. No way, we're filling in between commercials. Oh, yes. We just done one commercial where Jewel was playing this big film director, wasn't you?
Oh, yes.
And I was supposed to be this big star. So anyway, we just finished making this $1 million epic, and I have to say to him, where are you going for your holidays, Bermuda?
And I say, no, don't be daft. I'm going to holiday camp.
That's right.
I'm going to holiday camp. I'm going up holiday camp. Get your own chalet, hot and cold, babysitters laid on. There's simply loads of talent waiting to be discovered.
And I say, oh, Fabe! And off we... and then off we troll to Skegness. Here we go. What can we do for you?
Well, actually, I'm looking for a pet.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course, dogs are nice.
Dogs, yes.
Don't you think they're nice, Jules?
Very, yes. We've got a plethora of dogs here.
Plethora he's got.
How'd you fancy a little chihuahua?
No, thank you. No, I don't smoke.
The Mexican airless. Mexican airless. I thought that was very suitable for you. Oh, you have your poodle, fabulosa.
Oh.
A poodle? That's a noble beast, don't it, Jew?
Noble, yes.
Noble, isn't it?
You can have them, we can have them any colour you like, really. I mean, you've got your blue rinse, you've got your grey rinse, you can have any colour to match your barnet.
Now we're back on the Mexican air list again.
Well, what sort of dog would you recommend?
Well, we've got some new strains, what we bred ourselves. There's Cyril, he's half and half, you know. Half King Charles Spaniel, half Fox Terrier. We call him a Fox Cocker.
Or you can have your Doberman Wolfhound, your wire-haired Dalmatian. Then there's Queenie. She's a cross between a German sausage dog and a greyhound.
Sort of grey sausage dog hound.
Yes, that's right. She stands 4 foot high with her belly dragging on the ground. Means she may not look much, but she don't half go.
Well, it's not exactly what I had in mind. What about this little chap on the counter? He seems very quiet and well-behaved. A Yorkshire Terrier, isn't it?
Oh, there's a floor mop.
I thought he had a rather long tail.
Are you absolutely set on a dog?
Not really, no. I just wanted something out of the ordinary.
Well, what about our twin set? Oh, yeah. Twin set would be nice, wouldn't it? Hamster and tortoise. Marvellous for dealing with burglars.
What? Hamster and a tortoise
Yeah.
for dealing with burglars? How?
Well, the burglar creeps in through the window, see? He sees the hamster sitting there wrinkling his nose and looking all cute. So he gives a squeal of delight, and while he's bending down going, coochie, 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 coo, you creep up behind him and eat him with the tortoise.
Well, in the end, I settled for something more exotic and unusual. I mean, it's not everybody in South Kensington goes walkies with an orangutan. Very intelligent beast. I sent him out to get the newspapers, but unfortunately I haven't seen him since. Or the papers. Or the newsagent, for that matter. I offered a reward and circulated a description, but people keep bringing me Edward Braden.
Oh, him, great airy fool.
Well, that brings us to the end of the show. The only thing left is to give you the results of our limerick competition. Now, the winning entry came from Mrs. H. Maddox of 15 Bucknell Crescent, Berkeley Green, Birmingham 32, and goes like this. A sailor from near Portland Bill married a mermaid named Lil. He said, though you're dishy, you smell rather fishy. I think you should take chlorophyll. Nice. It's a clean one anyhow, isn't it? Now, this week's competition begins with the following 2 lines. An old onion peddler from Calais decided to take up the ballet. I'll repeat that. An old onion peddler from Calais decided to take up the ballet. And all you have to do is to complete the limerick. Answers, please, on a postcard to Round the Horne, care of the BBC, London, W1. And to the sender of the best completed limerick goes this week's prize. An old Bessarabian nose flute, which anyone can play, provided they've got an old Bessarabian nose. Cheerio, see you next week.
That was Round the Horne, starring Kenneth Horne, with Kenneth Williams, Hugh Paddick, Betty Marsden and Bill Pertwee. On the musical side, you heard the Fraser Hayes Four and Edwin Braden and the Hornblowers. The script was written by Barry Cooke and Marty Feldman and produced by John Simmons. Here are details of some of this week's programmes on BBC One.
At 9:25 on Tuesday, you'll be able to see a new programme entitled Ladies and Gentlemen, It Is My Pleasure, with Malcolm Muggeridge.
On Saturday night, the BBC Regret Hotline.
Later that night, there'll be a direct broadcast by the new television satellite, bringing you a person-to-person interview with Sonny Liston in New York. Yes, once again, early bird catches the worm.
Meanwhile, for those of you who are more easily pleased, here's 30 minutes of depressing and cheerless nonsense as we take you round the horn. Story so far. It had been a long winter in Stalag 15. Oberleutnant Kenneth von Williams, the camp commandant, he of the pure Aryan stock, to which he just added a beef cube, stood surveying the assembled prisoners. Who was behind the attempted escape? Was it beefy, ruddy-faced Wing Commander Betty Marsden? He of the handlebar moustache and low-slung racing seat? Or was it bulldog-chinned, dog-eared Captain Hugh Paddock? He levelled his loaded revolver, played by Bill Pertwee with the load on. Achtung, he barked, wagged his tail and scratched at the door to go walking. They knew that this was it. And then, suddenly, in the sky, they heard the low, monotonous drone that they all knew so well.
My name's Kenneth Horne. That was Douglas Smith, well-known unfrocked pig breeder of no fixed abode. Now, the answers to last week's questions. First, complete the titles of the following horror films. The first one was The Creature from the Black, and the answer was, of course, Lagoon, and not And White Minstrels. As a certain Mr. George Mitchell of London suggested. Part 2 of the horror movie question was The Cabinet of. Well, of course, it was Dr. Caligari, and not, as one of you said, Harold Wilson. But nice try just the same, Mr. A.D. Hume of Kinross. And finally, the film classic title was Gone with the Wind, and not the Christmas Club Money, Mr. 2437 of Dartmoor. Or even Gone with a Lodger, as suggested by Eddie Braden. I have a feeling there's some deep-seated personal grievance there. Well, now, it's time to meet the man who's set up his own kingdom in Hoxton, His Imperial Majesty, Gruntfuttock Rex.
No, not Rex. J. Peasmold Gruntfuttock, or as I title myself now, Fidel Gruntfuttock, dictator of the Free People's Republic of Peasmoldia.
Free Peoples?
Yes, that's the three of us, you see. My brother-in-law and our Vice-Marshal Scarface Thrupp, and my good lady wife, who has condescended to grace us with her presence. Say hello to Comrade Horne, Comrade Buttercup.
Hello, Comrade Cheeky Face.
Such a rower. See, Mr. Horne is known as Colorado Beetle Grunt. At least that's what I call her.
Well, now, Mr.
Fidel Gruntfuttock. Or to give me my full title, Fidel L. Gruntfuttock, founder of the state, father of the republic, liberator of the oppressed, and best prices given for second-hand gents' clothing.
Now, then, I believe you are a benevolent despot.
Yes, he is.
Shut up. You counter-revolutionary old A-bag. I'll have you liquidated, you know.
You have done.
Yes.
Many times. Many times.
And in fact, revolution is in the air. We're all rumbling with it. We're rumbling. Soon the free people of Peasmoldia will rise and cast off their shackles. We've nothing to lose but our chains. And so to you at home, I say bestir yourselves, and like a lion rouse me slumbers, gird up your loins. Not now, Buttercup. Fellow citizens, we march upon the town hall tomorrow. There'll be revolution in the streets. Or if wet, in the Scouts' hut. Arise!
There they go, the revolting Gruntfuttocks. Now something even more revolting, Douglas Smith. Stop flaunting your calves at Betty Marsden in that provocative way and make the announcement.
Yes, sir. And now, more savagely revealing than compact. More breathtaking in its grandeur than White Heather Club. More naked in its unashamed violence than Muriel Young talking to Pussycat Willow. We bring you Kenneth Horne, Special Agent.
I was having a few drinks at my club. That's the Junior Army and Navy Reform and Stripperama. And I'd just down my 8th pint when I got a call to go to the yard.
Wanted on the phone, Mr. Horne, sir.
Oh, thank you, Trustpot.
Is that all I get to say? That's not much of a part, is it?
I mean, wanted on the phone, Mr. Horne.
I'm not going to build a career on that, am I? Especially when I ask people to listen. I mean, the shame when I go home, my mum says, you haven't got much to do this week, son.
Look, I'm very sorry, I didn't write the script.
She says you're keeping me back.
No.
You're keeping me back. You're not letting me flower. I should be flowering. I could have been a star today. I could have been another Sir John Gingold. Oh. Where's my early promise? Where are the snows of yesteryear? I've had medals for acting. I've had medals. And a certificate for tap dancing.
Please. This is very embarrassing.
What do you mean?
I'll tell you.
What?
It's very embarrassing in public. There's people listening.
They've a right to know.
Right.
It's not fair the way they treat me on this show when they go off on outings. They won't let me sit with the driver. No. Where am I? I have to sit in the back with Edwin Braden. Great airy fool. I've been held back. I could have been a star. I could have been a star. Or I could have been somebody. I could have been somebody that could have come up to my house. They're going to come up to my house and knocking on my door and making me a very nice proposition. There, it's out. It's out. And I'm glad. I'm glad.
Now, are you feeling better? Can we go on now?
Yeah, it's all right.
Wanted on the phone, Mr. Horne.
I hurried to the phone booth immediately. Hello, Marianne Faithful speaking.
All right, Horne, you can drop the disguise. This is Brown Horrocks. I want you to get over here as quickly as you can. I shall be waiting for you at the bottom of the next page, disguised as a footnote.
Brown Horrocks was rattled. I could hear it. I don't think I could hear it, actually. It took a great deal to rattle Brown Horrocks. There was no time to waste. I leapt into my 2.4 drop-head Douglas Smith and roared off. What's the matter, Smith? You got a tiger in your tank?
I think it's a puss in the boot, actually.
No one likes a clever Dick Smith.
Horne.
Ah, Brown Horrocks, what's afoot?
I shall treat that feline with the contempt it deserves, Horne. Now, Horne, listen carefully.
Yeah.
Here comes the plot. True N. Ginsberg, Japanese mastermind and underwater haberdasher, has struck again. He set up a pirate radio station and is jamming BBC news broadcasts. Now, listen to this.
This is the 9 o'clock, and this is reading it. Today in Parliament, members met in the lobby to... when the House reassembled, George Brown rose to his feet and delivered a song which was greeted with cries of resign from all sides. In the following, they asked if there was any truth in the rumours that was being used to Barbara Castle. Mr. Harold Wilson replied that he wasn't aware of any, but that he would be delighted to. Sir Eric Douglas Hume in a public on television.
Good heavens, how awful.
Yes, and got a few cheap laughs though, didn't it? Now then, this pirate radio station, we have one slight clue that might give us a lead to its whereabouts.
Oh?
There is a Chinese junk moored on the Serpentine. It's called the SS Ginsberg. It's just a hunch, mind you, but there might be something in it. Get out there and stop him immediately.
Yes, sir. And with that, the interview was over. He glanced at me quizzically. I glanced at his quizzically. He squared his jaw. He squared his jaw, cubed his ears, divided his nose, and took away the number he first thought of. Some hours later, found me on the banks of the dangerous, garbage-infested waters of the Serpentine, and putting on my goggles, buckling on my snorkel, and dancing in my tails. Soon I was clambering aboard the junk, a knife clenched between my teeth and my teeth safely hidden in a secret compartment in my mouth. They'd never think of looking there. I crawled along the deck when suddenly a figure loomed above me. I looked up and there stood a beautiful girl, wearing more leather than an Aberdeen Angus. She spoke.
I am Grotty Thundergast, Chewin Ginsberg's personal bodyguard. I guard his personal body, you know. Don't try anything, Mr. Horne. I'm a black belt 6th Dan, a master of karate, an expert in jiu-jitsu. If you make one false move, I shall hit you with me handbag.
My cool grey eyes surveyed her. She was my kind of woman. She gave me a look which made my hair stand up on end. And there's not many women who can do that. I took her in my arms and held her tenderly in my double entendre. Eh? Oh, sorry, that's the producer's note on my script. And then, putting emphasis on certain words, she said,
keep it clean and bright and don't overrun. Eh? Oh, it's another note from the producer.
We clung together in a tempestuous embrace, and then, Smith.
Well, they say the onlooker sees most of the game.
Smith, don't be ribald.
I'm sorry, sir. 3 seconds later.
3 seconds?
Well, don't blame me, sir. I've had a producer's note, too, you know. 3 seconds later, Special Agent Horne capered reluctantly up the companionway to the stateroom of the fiendish Chewin Ginsberg.
Come in. Ah, Horne. Well?
Well, what?
Aren't you going to say, chew, and then I can say, bless you, like I did last time? Remember? I'll go on. Obispo.
Oh, very well. Chew. Well?
What?
Aren't you going to say bless you?
No, I've gone off the idea. Sir, Mr. Horne, you have tracked me down.
Yes, and I'm going to put a stop to your evil plan to undermine the BBC's etc., as established earlier on.
Yes, but first, let us have some entertainment. I will summon Lotus Blossom, most faithful of all my concubines. Lotus Blossom, my little bamboo shoot, my little lychee nut.
Yes, oh mighty warlord. Oh celestial radiance, your slightest whim is my command, mate.
Between ourselves, Mr. Horne, Lotus Blossom, not all she cracked up to be. But sing, my precious flower, sing song of lonely warrior who dreams of a return to homeland far away and sings plaintive traditional song of yearning for place of birth, song entitled Hey Salon Hiatua Piahari. After me, a one, a two.
It's a long way to Tispahari. It's a long way to go. It's a long way.
Thank you. Thank you, Lotus Blossom. Yes, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'll let you know, yes. Yes. Now, Mr. Horne, eyes down for a big oriental flash finish. Yes, I'm trying to undermine BBC news broadcast.
But why?
Because they would not let me be news leader on radio for British Broadcasting Corporation. Would not even let me lead lacing results. They say I'm too tall.
Well, I'll have a word with the Loy Lich, if you like.
No, too late now. Resentment and frustration have turned my leason. Revenge shall be mine. I shall destroy BBC, and you cannot stop me.
Oh, can't I, Ginsberg? This Douglas Smith I'm holding in my hand is timed to go off in 10 seconds. Smith.
Oh, Lord. Tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock.
Well, Dr. Chewin Ginsberg?
Not that! Don't let him off! Don't let him off! No, don't let him off! All right, I surrender.
And with that, he ran round in ever-decreasing circles and with a despairing cry disappeared through one of his own portholes. It's a good trick if you can do it, too. But although I followed him that time, we in MI5 feel that we haven't heard the last of.
Dr. Chu N. Ginsburg, M.A., failed. Goodbye.
And what of the strange junk? Well, here are the Fraser Hayes Four to sing some, as they give you a track from their new LP, Pinky and Perky Sing the Quentin Hogg Songbook. Ladies and gentlemen, the Fraser Hayes Four.
We've got something to tell you, so please don't give it a miss. We're gonna tell you what's on our mind. What we really want to say is this. It's a lovely day today, so whatever you've got to do, you got a lovely day to do it in, that's true.
And I hope whatever you've got to do is something that can be done by two.
For I'd really like to stay. It's a lovely day today, so whatever you've got to do, I'd be so happy to be doing it with you. But if you've got something that must be done, and it can only be done by one, there is nothing more to say, except it's a lovely day for saying, it's a lovely day. It's a lovely day, so whatever you've gotta do, it's a lovely day, and you gotta stop feeling blue.
It's a lovely day today, and whatever you've got to do, you got a lovely day to do it in, that's true.
I'd be happy doing it, but if you've got something that must be done, and it can only be done by one, there is nothing more to say, except it's a lovely day for saying, it's a lovely day, except it's a lovely day for saying, it's a beautiful, glorious, wonderful day.
And now, trends.
This is the part of the show for the trendy, the with it, the people who are switched on, as opposed to people like me who've been cut off at the mains. Now, first, the cinema. Here is trendy film columnist Pete Frontkettle with news from the studios.
A well-known film producer, Lippy Angst, is planning something really exciting when he goes on the floor at Shepperton with Esther Waters. Playing the title role is Pandora Lust, and she's with me here now. Pandora, that's a very unusual name, isn't it?
Yeah, sure. It's not my own, you know. Oh. But I felt with the name I had. You see, I just wasn't getting anywhere.
Oh. Well, what was your real name?
Rock Hudson.
Meanwhile, on release, there's a revival of that great British film classic of the 30s, The Legend of the Glass Intermezzo, starring Celia Molestrangler and Binky Huckaback. Now, here's an excerpt.
Charles, you startled me coming in like that through the French windows.
Oh, darling Fiona, I had to see you.
I felt you would.
I felt you felt I would.
I felt you felt I felt you would.
I felt that too. And yet I was uncertain. Breath haltingly, teeth chatteringly, nerve twitchingly, lip bitingly uncertain, and yet somehow sure. And you, darling? Darling Fiona.
I was sure too, darling, darling, darling Charles. And yet somehow uncertain. Sure that I was uncertain, but certainly unsure, and yet surely certainly unsure. With that sure certainty that comes from knowing.
Yes, I know.
I know you know.
I know you know, I know.
Yes, I know. And yet now, I no longer care.
Ah, Fiona. To know, to care, or uncaring know, and knowing care or not, still unknowing and caring, and knowing care not, or no. Shall we ever know?
Or knowing care.
Or caring? No. Oh, Fiona, you take a man's heart in your hands and laugh in its face. Play for me, Fiona. One last time. Our Rhapsody.
One tries to forget. I don't know. So many things. Oh, Charles, do you remember that gay night in Warsaw?
Ah, Warsaw. How could I forget?
And Budapest.
How could I ever forget Budapest?
And do you remember that time in the doorway of the horse meat shop in the Balls Pond Road?
Who could forget that time? No, I don't remember.
Oh, well, it must have been someone else. It was so dark. Why did you come here, Charles? To torture me? To drive me mad?
No. Came to tune the piano.
Oh, they don't make films like that anymore, do they? They just show them on television every Sunday afternoon. And now, trends in music. Yet again, we are underprivileged to have with us that doyen of folk singers, Rambling Sid Rumpo.
And dang me down a doodle-o. The past week I've been rambling and roving amid the bosky retreats and pastoral solitude of the cool orangutan nightclub, where I'm currently appearing now, pulling down $3 a week with my simple homespun rubbish, chirp and a fusset gone away,
Now, what are you going to sing for us this week, Rambling
Well, I
Sid?
thought I'd give you a sea shanty.
Oh, nice.
It's an old Cornish lobster potter's song. It tells the story of a young lobster man who sings to his lady love. For I'm going away, my fair young maid, upon the salty main, for when the lobsters spawn and the tide flows through, and the North Star guides the sailor to a haven in your arms, I'll come home a bare knee, a parrot, and fine laces, and perfume, and a new sink tidy for what you've always craved. And to this his lady love answers, "Aye, what's that you said?" 'Cause she weren't listening. And so he sings to her, "What's the matter? You got cloth ears." "I'm not saying that all over again." And he goes. And as he goes, he sings this little lament. Haul away, me dangle boys, haul away, for I'm bound down when you're outward bound and the wind blows free, early in the morning.
Thank you, Rambling Sid. And now sling your hooker. We shall never look upon his like again if we play our cards right. Now, the other week, I popped into a new little photographer's in Chelsea. It was called the Studio Bona. Hello, anyone there?
Oh, hello, I'm Julian. This is my friend Sam.
Oh, yes, we're filling in as photographers between acting engagements on the telly. We just done this one where I'm all dragged up as a sultan. Yes, I was, all dragged up as a sultan, squatting on my cushion, you see, and all surrounded by these dolly little polones.
Yes. And there's me stood at his side wearing a pair of great baggy trousers and full of Eastern promise, waving me... waving me fan over it.
No, he waved his fan lovely. So anyway, then this bird trolls in, waggling her hips at me, and I look at her with burning masculine desire, and... Then, that's right, wasn't it? Then she gave me that bit of marshmallow. Remember that?
Oh, it's fame. But apart from that, we've only been doing odds and ends, haven't we? I mean, hither and thither.
Yes, we're filling in as photographers now. What can we do for you, then?
Well, I just wanted a portrait, you know, nothing too sexy. Something that brings out the roguish twinkle in my eye and with particular emphasis on the dimple. But I leave it to you.
Well, let's see now. How about if we did you like we done that chap, oh dear, what's his name? Wait a minute, it's coming. That big Scots fella.
Who?
Takes the James Bond part in them films. Oh, Siobhan Connery.
Oh, yes, Siobhan Connery. Oh, Fabe. Yes. The shirt slashed open to the waist.
Slash.
Yes. Oh, flexing your deltoids. With your chest bulging. And a lock of your trousered mop falling carelessly over your... Oh, I can see difficulties.
No, I don't think it's quite me. No, it's not me.
Well, anyway, have a browse through some of our work here. Jules, show him your folio.
Well, now, you have your various atmosphere photos. There's your broody intellectual, like we done for Kathy Kirby. Remember that?
Very nice study.
Yes.
That was.
Then you've got your dewy-eyed ingenue, like we done for that Felix Elmer.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yes, Don Prince, that's right. Yes, swept up,
What's him?
Swept. Yes, good.
Or there's this. Oh, this is a boner one. Look. It's not suitable for you, mind, but look at her, lounging on a settee in a figure-hugging courage trouser suit with a collar of diamonds at her neck. Oh, we had a load of trouble getting that pose.
Now, hold on. I think I recognise that face.
Of course you do. It's Gladys Cooper.
Looks more like Henry Cooper.
Oh, Jewel, I told you it was.
Oh, don't. I had all this out before.
Oh.
No wonder we had all that trouble getting him to pose like that.
Yes, let's be careful. Let's be careful. Well, this one is Kenneth Horne, not Lena. So watch it.
You watch it.
Now then, how can we express his personality best? Now, go on, Jewel. Can I start creating? Or start thinking of something we can do with it?
Wait, don't rush me.
All right.
Rush me. Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. I see him all grainy. Absolutely stark and lit from the bottom.
There. Oh, fantabulous. Quick, do it now while the mood's on you.
Yes. Here we go. Under the hood.
Under the hood, yes.
Come on, Sam, give us a hand with him.
Yes,
right.
Yeah.
Ready?
Yes.
Look, there's just one thing. I'm not telling you your own business, but should I be under the hood with you? And in the end, the photo came out like an original Armstrong. Not Jones, Louis Armstrong. Well, that's all for this week, except to announce the winner of last week's Limerick competition. And the winner is Mrs. Churchill of 10 Bouchier Walk, Raynham, Essex, and it goes like this. A monkey who lived in a zoo got terribly bored with the view. It wasn't the grill that made him feel ill, but the people who kept looking through. Isn't that nice? Well, now, the last limerick of our present series begins with the following two lines. A short-sighted surgeon named Sprake once made a quite stupid mistake, and I'll repeat that. A short-sighted surgeon named Sprake once made a quite stupid mistake, and all you have to do is to complete the limerick suggesting what mistake he might have made. Answers, please, not to the BMA, but to Round the Horne, care of BBC, London W1. And to the sender of the best completed limerick goes this week's prize of a glossy photo of Alma Cogan dressed as the harbour master at Loo. Cheerio, see you next week.
That was Round the Horne, starring Kenneth Horne, with Kenneth Williams, Hugh Paddick, Betty Marsden and Bill Pertwee. On the musical side, you heard the Fraser Hayes Four and Edwin Braden and the Hornblowers. The script was written by Barry Tooke and Marty Feldman and produced by John Simmons. Here are details of some of this week's programs on radio and television.
In music making on the Third Network, Leon Goossens will be illustrating the function of the wind in Belshazzar's feast.
Finally, on Wednesday, I object to Jimmy Edwards, Ted Ray, and Charlie Chaplin. Oh, I'm sorry, I'll read that again. No, I won't. I was right the first time.
And now, for those of you who are more easily taken in, here's 30 minutes of trivial, sick-making hoo-ha as we take you round the horne. The story so far. Old, greasy, mad Rasputin Betty Marsden. He of the dirty, matted hair and monk's habit, which we needn't elaborate on. Genuflected in front of the Tsar, son of Ivan the Terrible, Pertwee, the even more terrible. Father of all the Russias, but he pleaded the headaches. By his side sat his two daughters, haughty, wayward tomboy Kenneth Williams, shy, demure Anastasia Paddick, she of the arch smile and fluted transept. The Tsar inclined his head towards Rasputin as the mad monk whispered his demand for money. But Pertwee the Terrible shook his head as if to say, "You can't get a silk purse out of a Tsar's ear." Rasputin's face convulsed with insane rage, and pointing a trembling finger at the Tsar, he screamed out the vile words.
My name's Kenneth Horne. And that was Douglas Smith, of whom the police say foul play cannot be ruled out. Now, for the answers to last week's quiz, complete these song titles. Well, the first one was, I'm Going to Sit Right Down and... Well, the answer was, write myself a letter. There were several other suggestions that were not only unseemly, but physically impossible. And if you don't believe me, Athletic of Chatham, well... you sit right down and try it. The last title you had to complete was I Dream Of. Well, Mr. J.G. of Rotherhithe, I've looked up what you apparently dream of in Freud, and it seems that you have a morbid fear of being brutally assaulted by a giant rabbit covered in jam. Now, don't worry, Mr. J.G., it's a very common dream indeed. Edwin Braden has it often.
Oh, him great airy fool.
Yeah. But the real answer to the song title is I Dream of Jeannie with the light brown hair, which I should have thought was a great improvement of I dream of being brutally assaulted by a giant rabbit covered in jam. None of which brings us to the next part of this farrago, where we once again extend a welcome to ex-king dictator Fidel Gruntfuttock of Peasmoldia.
I am no longer dictator Gruntfuttock. No, but to wit and viz, plain brother Gruntfuttock. You see, I've had the voices again. Just after the pubs closed last night, I was cooling my fevered brow against the window of the butcher's shop when I had a vision. It took the form of a pig's head in the window. An unearthly piping issued from its lips, and it said, "Go forth, Grunt Futtock, my child, throw off your trappings and gird up your loins." At least I think that's what it said. It was very hard to distinguish. It had an apple in its mouth.
Yeah. It must have been not bad for a pig's head.
No, that's right. So I threw off my rich apparel, viz. my army surplus vest and the bowler they give me up the prisoner's welfare. And now I'm dressed simply as you see me, in the attire of my chosen calling, e.g. the garb of the Dalai Lama or gaffer of the Grunt Futtock Order.
Yes, now what are your aims?
They are simple to comprehend, my child. My child. My child. What I mean is any twit can catch on. Yes. You see, our aims are to reach a better and fuller life through brotherly love. And here with me is the serene high priestess of our order, Sister Buttercup. Oi, slobberchops, come up here, come up. Come give Mr. Horne the traditional mystical salutation of our calling.
Hello, cheeky face!
Help us all. That's very mystical, that is.
Yeah, it is.
Yes, she's got the manners all right, the manners of mystical pig.
Please, would you mind?
Shut your row up. How can you go about preaching brotherly love up the pub with her lurching about, breathing milk stout all over the customers, and ogling all the illegible males of the opposite sex?
Who? Who have I ogled? Name one.
Mr. Tramwicket from the horse meat shop. I've seen you ogling him.
If I didn't ogle him, you wouldn't have no Sunday joint.
All right. I'll give you a special dispensation regarding him.
Oh, you have done?
Yes.
Many times.
Oh, forgive us, Mr. Horne. We're just having one of those eternal hair-splitting wrangles that tend to split our followers into two camps.
Well, naturally, you wouldn't want your followers split up.
No. Especially seeing as how I've only got one. Oh. That says my brother-in-law, Nemesis Thrupp, who unfortunately is not able to honour us with his presence today as he's been remanded for a medical examination.
Well, now, to sum up, if I may interrupt.
Sum up, yes.
Your sect believes in poverty, abstinence and good works.
Yes, that is the nub and the gist of the whole brouhaha in a nutshell. And so we must be away now up the flesh pots of the great metropolis, spreading the word to whomsoever will heed us.
Spreading the word, you say?
Yes, Mr. Horne, and the word is Rumpelstiltskin.
That's it, Rumpelstiltskin.
What is the mystical significance of that?
Nothing, no. It's the name of a horse running in the 3:30 at York. Come on, Sister Buttercup, gird up your loins. We're off.
Now, to present Kenneth Horne, the man whose last performance was nominated for the Golden Palm at the Cannes Film Festival, but only got 2 fingers. Now, in his 75th record-breaking year, here he is, Kenneth Horne, Special Agent.
Would the torture never end? My nerves were stretched to breaking point as I crouched there in the dark. Before me, the bland, uncomprehending face of the awful interrogator. The dreadful questions went on and on. Would the Eamon Andrews show never end? And then, fortunately, my vertical hold went and I slid down the slope to merciful oblivion. I was awakened by the sound of a phone ringing. Hello, Gene Shrimpton here.
All right, Horne, you can drop the disguise. This is Brian Horrocks. I'm speaking to you from New York. My secretary, Miss Golightly, and I have been at Juneau all day. Now, look here, it's terribly urgent. Can you get out here quickly?
It'll take some time.
Oh, that's all right. We'll probably be going on till the small hours. The Security Council are very worried. Now, look here, Horne. What do you know about a man who calls himself Professor Corn Posture?
Corn Posture. Oh, well, he's the world's leading expert on ballistic missiles. He won last year's Nobel Prize for Physics, and he's head of the science department at Yale. Why this interest, sir?
Well, he asked me to lend him 5 shillings. Oh. All right, now take the next flight from London Airport and report to me at the UNO building in New York.
And so, pausing only to throw my baggage into the car and drive her home to her mother, I was on my way to New York.
Ah, Horne.
Ah, Brown Horrocks.
We've got some photographs here that are worrying us a bit. Here, have a look through
Right.
them.
Oh, good heavens, surely Miss Golightly could catch a cold doing that.
Oh, show me. I'm sorry, I gave you the wrong photos. These were taken on the MI5 outing to the Southend. Sorry about that. These are the ones I wanted you to look at. Aerial photos of Haiti. What do you make of these?
Well, looks like giant, empty milk bottles about 200 feet tall, I'd say. What do you think they're being used for?
Surely it's obvious. Firing giant rockets. Oh. We've had 2 experts studying these photographs. A chap from ballistics and a milkman. And they both agree. Secret rocket installations. And notice this small figure in the photograph here,
Yeah.
standing beside one of the bottles.
Good heavens, I'd recognize that inscrutable oriental face anywhere. Isn't it Gladys Lustgirdle?
No.
Then in that case it must be Irving Berlin.
Yes. Either him or Dr. Chuen Ginsberg. Get out there and find out what's going on and stop it.
And with that, Brown Horrocks crossed his legs, dotted his eyes, folded his arms along the perforated line, and put them in a stamped addressed envelope. The interview was over. I knew what I had to do. 2 days later, I was splashing happily in Haiti. The air came rushing back to my lungs as I surfaced. I removed my snorkel and flippers and lay back in the water, letting the gentle waves lap around my body. Suddenly, the dusky head of a native surfaced near mine. Clenched in his teeth was a glittering knife. One question was uppermost in my mind. What was he doing in my bath? He spoke.
Pass along the bath, man.
What are you doing here?
I'm a sponge diver.
Well, you won't find any in my bath. I used a flannel. Why don't you try the sea?
I'm not going in there, man. I can't swim.
I had a sixth sense, call it what you will, but somehow I felt his story didn't quite add up. Suddenly, he came for me, his knife flashing. We grappled. Let's go. And then, with one last despairing lunge, I managed to pull out the plug. That had been too close for comfort. After all, it was only a hip bath. But someone was trying to get rid of me. Who? I leapt out of the bath and hurried to a waterfront bar I knew. I hurried back and put some clothes on. 10 minutes later, I lounged against the bar, sipping a planter's punch. A planter next to me was sipping mine. I needed a smoke. I pulled out my pig iron cigarette case and pulled out a filter-tip pig specially rolled for me by the little pork butcher in Jermyn Street. I puffed at it reflectively. Then suddenly I felt something hard in the small of my back. I turned and found myself staring down the small blue muzzle of a small blue dog. It bit me in the ankle and scampered off. I followed it. Soon I came to a small clearing in the jungle, and there stood a rude hut. Outside squatted a native carving a rude figure. I spoke to him. He made a rude gesture in the direction of the hut. And I knocked on the door.
Come in. Mr. Horne.
Choo. Well?
Sir, you have discovered my plan. I'm not saying this.
Absolute rubbish. I'm a man with my training and background. I'm a dramatic actor.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't ask Dame Sybil to say,
Sir, you have discovered my plan.
in that high, squeaky voice, I want a part with some body in it. Once more, unto the breach, dear friends. You see, once more, close the wall up with our English dead. Dead, you see. That's what I want. I've been trained for it. I want to wear tights. I've got the legs for it. I have, I've got the legs. I've got good, firm calves, I have. Go on. Have a feel of my calves.
No, thanks. I'd sooner not if you don't mind. Look, we're getting behind.
That's all you want me for, getting cheap laughs. I'm an artiste. I'm not lowering myself.
Come on, Ken, this is embarrassing.
Embarrassing? It's me that's embarrassed. It's all right for you. You get good meaty parts with a bit of class in them, you
Oh,
do.
would you mind?
Yes, you and you, Paddock. You keep well in with Kenneth Horne, don't you?
Don't say
yes, you do.
that.
You totally do.
I do
Any
nothing
part
of
with a
the
bit of
kind.
culture, you
Stop
get
it,
it.
Ken, in
I've
front
been
of
held back, I have, just because I'm a grammar school boy. I fought my way out from the gutter. I could have been a star. I could have been a Maggie.
Somebody talk to him. Burn a feather under his nose or something.
I'll do the part, Ken, if you like.
Oh,
I'll take it. Honestly, I will. I don't mind, yeah. I take a good Japanese, and I can also do Hutch, can you? It's more like that. Oh, yeah, yes, I could do it. Honestly, I could. Let me do it, Mr. Horne. Get rid of him. He doesn't like you. He's never liked you. I'll do the part.
Yes, you would, wouldn't you? You would, yes. Yes, you'd do anything to get a bit of attention, you would. That's it, you see. You all hate me. I've never been loved in this show. I've never been loved. No. I've not been loved. Nobody loves me.
Of course we do.
No, you don't.
Yes, we all do. We all do.
Well, say it then.
We all love you.
Eddie Braden didn't say it. Make him say it.
Edwin.
Oh, very well, then.
Please.
I love you.
There wasn't any real warmth in it. Great airy hypocrite. What about the producer? Look at him up there in that control box. Look at him glowering at me. Make him say it. Go on.
John, would you mind?
Oh, all right. I love you. The whole BBC loves you. Now, will you get on with the show?
Please.
Please.
That's better. Ah, so, Mr. Horne. You have discovered my plan, namely to send up giant rockets filled with 300 tons of cold porridge, which I shall then explode all over the world.
But why?
What else can you do with 300 tons of cold porridge?
You'll never get away with it. Take that.
Aha!
And that.
Aha!
And that.
No, thanks, I've already got two of those. All right, Mr. Horne. Yes, you win. But you haven't heard the last of Dr. Chu N. Ginsburg, M.A. Failed. Goodbye.
The main part of Kenneth Williams was played by Gladys Morgan. Other parts of Kenneth Williams were played by the BBC Repertory Company. And now, here to sing a track from their new LP, Swing and Sway the Canon Collins Way, Mr. Fraser Hayes Paul.
Holding hands at midnight, neath the starry sky. Nice work if you can get it, and you can get it if you try. Ooh, strolling with the one girl, sighing sigh after sigh. Nice work if you can get it, and you can get it if you try. Just imagine someone waiting at the cottage door,
where two hearts become one.
could ask for anything more. Loving one who loves you, and then taking that vow. I do.
Nice work if you can get it.
And if you get it, won't you tell me how? Holding hands at midnight beneath the starry sky, strolling with the one girl, sighing, sighing. Wow! Nice work if you can get it, and you can get it if you try. Just imagine someone waiting at the cottage door,
Where two hearts become one.
could ask for anything more. Loving one who loves you, and then taking that vow. Nice work if you can get it, and if you get it, won't you tell me how?
trends. This is the part of the show for the young swingers, as opposed to people of my generation who just let their braces dangle. Now, first, trends in society. What are the top people up to? Well, here to give us the inside gossip is ace society columnist Jocelyn Pettibone.
Well, this is all very hush-hush and off the cuff, you understand, but it's the talk of smart circles, the dem of the year, Henrietta's siblings, over 4 feet long. Well, of course, the groom was livid and round her ankles. With the Duke of Stalybreath, his stable boy, and... so, of course, they had to scratch it.
Yes. Oh, very exciting.
Well, of course, they denied it.
Really?
Yes, well, I must be away now, as I promised the Duchess of Moult that I would... in the hothouse at Kew.
Yes, well, thank you, Jocelyn Pettibone, for giving us that glimpse of the life of the upper set. And give the Duchess, will you, my warmest... own natural surroundings. Thank you. Now... And now, trends in the theatre. The plays of the 30s are still being revived. Here is an excerpt from the poignant third act of Bitter Laughter, starring Dame Celia Molestrangler and Binky Huckaback.
Oh, you startled me coming through the window like that.
I had to come. Oh, darling, darling Fiona.
Are you glad, Charles? About us, I mean.
Glad? Yes, Fiona. Enchantedly, heart-quenchingly, delectably, luxuriously, voluptuously glad, and yet somehow sorry. About us, I mean. And you, Fiona, are you sorry?
Grief-riddenly, wretchedly, hand-wringingly, utterly sorry. And yet somehow glad.
I know.
I know you know.
I know you know, I know.
Yes, I know.
Oh, darling Fiona, how I hate having to meet you like this. Secretly, furtively, lurkingly, clandestinely, for a few snatched, sweet, sad, madcap, heart-twitteringly, rib-thumpingly, bewitching moments of blissful pain.
All painful bliss.
How true. How terribly, terribly true. And yet, how false.
How true.
Oh, what's the use, Fiona? These trite, meaningless, empty, vacuous, pointless phrases can't convey what I feel in my heart.
I sensed that.
I sensed you sensed it.
I sensed you sensed I sensed it.
Yes, I sensed it.
I know.
I know you know.
I know you know.
Yes, I know. That's the marvelous thing about us. We don't need words.
No.
I must go now, darling. Goodbye.
And shall I see you again? Answer yes, Charles. For pity's sake. Answer yes.
Yes. When I come to clean the windows again.
Tremendous toured overacting that was. And now trends in music. The time once again to welcome that picturesque, homespun, folksy twit, rambling Sid Rumpo.
Hi, Mary Down, crumple diddle-I-do, and other colourful affectations. Well, me dearie in the past week I've been frolicking around, listening to the simple country folk warbling their colourful ditties and cleaning them up for getting them past the censor Chirrup, poor Tom's gone away,
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Now, what are you going to sing for us this week, Rambling Sid?
'Tis a Grummet Tinker's song from the bogs of old Ireland. And Sung by the itinerant peddlers of thy parts as they lurk in the peat bogs, tinkering their grummets.
Well, I suppose they don't have television.
'Tis a courting song sung by a young tinker to his lighter love as he plights his troth. He sings to her, "If you will give me all your love, then I shall give to thee jewels and perfumes and a ribbon for your hair and an old pair of boots what belong to my granny. They'll need resoling, but they'll do your treat for getting in the cold." But as he goes, he sings this song. Sing turtle-lie for the tinker's life from Cork to Old Tralee, oh, for I will give thee pots and pans if you'll come a tinkering with me, oh. With a tumble down tick and a rooney o'day, sing tross-up, a fall dear old Ido, and I'll treadle my crumple for many a day if I don't get a stitch in my side, oh, side, oh, side, oh, if I don't get a stitch in me side, oh.
And thank you, Rambling Sid. Now, last week a maiden aunt wrote to me to say she was coming to London on a visit and would I get her a couple of seats for something in the West End. So I went along to a new ticket agency that's just opened in Chelsea, Boner Seats. And I popped in to see what they had. Hello, anybody there?
Oh, hello, I'm Julian. This is my friend Sandy.
You want the bonus seats? We have them.
Hello, what can I do for you?
Well, I wonder if you could get me a couple of tickets for the West End show. How about Little Me?
Yes, how about Little You? Walk in here and just demand seats for a show, can he, Jules?
Of course he can't. I mean, we're booked out. Look, I got crosses all over my seating plan.
Well, here's some that are not marked. Now, can't I have that one?
Yes, if you don't mind playing the bassoon in the orchestra.
Well, what have you got?
Well, let's see. Show him your folder, Jules.
Now then, how'd you fancy a resounding tinkle with George Devine at the Royal Court?
Oh, how about As You Like It in the open air?
Or do you think perhaps you'd enjoy Bowing with Nicholas Parsons?
And have you loather?
Or perhaps Ken Dodd in Dodd's Ear?
Or you've got your old Vic with Laurence Olivier, Ollie's Ear. And what it says here is doing Henry V and Vi.
Henry V and Vi? Let's have a look. That's Henry VI.
Oh, I told you, Jules. Don't start.
Anyway, when we saw it, we wondered which one was Vi.
There you are.
Sandy said it was Albert Finney in a wig.
Yeah!
I told him it was the Earl of Warwick. Of course, we might be able to fit you in for Hamlet.
He don't want that.
Don't he?
Of course he don't.
What about an opera, then?
Yeah.
Do you think you'd enjoy Così fan tutte?
Mozart?
Please yourself, we only fix the seats. Anyway, that'd be too highbrow for you, be over your head. I've got it, he's got it.
I've got the very thing.
He's got the very thing.
Drama, movement, and the best acting in London.
Well, it sounds wonderful. What is it?
All in wrestling.
Oh!
Well, now, that brings us to the end of this week's show, and all that remains is for me to give you last week's winning entry in our limerick competition. Now, the winner is Miss Maggie Smith of Eldon Road, W8, and her limerick goes like this. An old onion seller from Calais decided to take up the ballet. He danced across Spain with Margot Fontaine and came first in the Nuremberg Rally. And so to you, Maggie Smith, goes this week's prize of the biography of Richard Dimbleby by his son David, and entitled My Faux Pas. See you next week with the last of the present series. Till then, cheerio.
That was Round the Horne, starring Kenneth Horne, with Kenneth Williams, Hugh Paddick, Betty Marsden and Bill Pertwee. On the musical side, you heard the Fraser Hayes Four and Edwin Braden and the Hornblowers. The script was written by Barry Cooke and Marty Feldman and produced by John Simmons. Here are details of some of this week's programmes on BBC Radio.
In community singing on Sunday, the Reverend Angus Smith will not be leading his congregation in singing the Sky Boat Song.
And on Thursday, you'll be able to hear Mr. Peter Cadbury reading excerpts from his autobiography entitled Reminiscences of a Chocolate-Covered Tycoon.
But meanwhile, for those of you who are more easily pleased, here's 30 minutes of mundane and tepid buffoonery, as for the last time in the present series we take you Round the Horne. The story so far. It was winter in the lumber camp, as Camp Lumber Betty Frenchy Marsden, he of the eyes like burning coals and a nose like a faggot, strode into the bunkhouse and confronted the notorious camp foreman, Kenneth Vancouver Jack Williams. Where is Eskimo Nell, played by Bill Blubberlips Pertwee, coated in bear grease, he rasped. Vancouver Jack snatched up his old saw, played by old saw Hugh Paddick, with a set of rusty teeth. If I can't have her, nobody shall, he cried, sobbed, wiped his eyes and sang two choruses of my Yiddish mama. Meanwhile, on top of a nearby mountain, a lean, grey, menacing form, silhouetted against the sky, raised its head to the moon and dismally howled.
My name is Kenneth Horne. That was Douglas Smith, photographic model of Old Compton Street. First of all, the answers to last week's quiz. Complete the titles of the following songs. First, It's a Long Way To. Now, well, Mr. J.G. of Rotherhithe, I sympathise with your plight, especially these cold mornings. But the answer was Tipperary. Now, the next title, Over My Shoulder Goes. Well, we had some rather interesting, if exaggerated, claims regarding that. The answer, nevertheless, is Over My Shoulder Goes One Care. And now, the return of J. Peasmold Gruntfuttock, the celebrated walking slum. Mr. Gruntfuttock, please, Mr. Gruntfuttock.
Oh, yes, thank you, yes. Thank you. Nice of you to ask me up here. I have doffed that nomenclature. I've completely doffed it and took on a cognomen of a more pleasing and euphonious nature.
You mean you've changed your name?
Yes, that puts it in a globule.
And may I ask why?
My eye happened to perchance to light upon an item of intelligence in my daily paper while I was carrying the horse meat home in about this lady who, although she was enamoured of a said gentleman by the cognomen of Thick Broom, and I quote, she would not let him plight her nuptials until he had doffed it.
And so, what are you changing your name to?
Well, I have toyed with several, including Wendy, Anthony Armstrong McHorse Privet. It's a very good, strong name.
Very good, yes.
And Dennis Tremaine Wilson. But I finally settled on one which suits my personality. A name which is noble yet dignified, yet furtive. Aha, you say. What is it? I cannot surmise.
All right, if you insist. Aha, what is it I cannot surmise?
I am henceforth to be known as Count Rory O'Thigh-Blast. And that is Irish, as befits my new calling, that of wandering bard, or as I'm known local, the Swan of Oxton.
Yes. I take it you've become a poet?
Yes, this morning to be exact. And I've composed an epic stanza to commemorate this being the last programme. I shall read it to you.
Good.
I shall read. Oh, grand and mighty Round the Horne, full loud your fame is crowed, from John O'Groats near the town of Wick to the horse meat shop in the Bulls Pond Road. So here's a toast to you listeners bold, who rejoice in our gladsome frolic. May ye long be spared from athlete's foot. Not to mention the colic.
Well, thank you very much. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon to you. Thank you. Thank you and goodbye. Count Rory O'Thigh-Blast, née Grunt Futtock.
And now, more compelling than ragtag and bobtail. More breathtaking in its savage grandeur than come dancing. More starkly unashamed in its scenes of searing animal passion than woman's are. We present Kenneth Horne, Special Agent.
Kenneth Horne, a license to kill on one side of the road on even dates. Now, this story began in my luxuriously appointed pied à terre in Jermyn Street. I had just finished a case, and I just sat there idly mending a tear in a pair of old pieds, when suddenly the phone rang. Hello, Drusilla Bifus here.
Who do you think you're kidding, Horne? You can drop the disguise. This is Brown Horrocks, MI5. I want you to get over here immediately. I'll be waiting for you halfway down the next page, disguised as a jam stain.
I leapt into my 2.4 Douglas Smith and pressed the starter.
Rum, rum, rum.
I did a fast racing change, nosed him out into the traffic and roared off in the direction of Whitehall.
Meow.
All right, Smith, don't make a meal of it. Your big end will go or something.
Ah, Horne.
Ah, Brown Horrocks.
Horne, disaster is staring us in the face.
Yes, I know. I've read the rest of this lousy sketch. Can't we just go into the song?
No. We've got a responsibility to the nation. Someone's getting at the American rockets. Listen to this recording. Lyndon Johnson talking to an astronaut in space.
Well, hi there, Ken. I'm a pot handle out there in space. This is your president talking to you. Can you hear me, son? We all are mighty proud of what you're doing up there. Always assuming that what you're doing up there is what we think you're doing up there. Can you all hear me, son?
Thank you kindly, Mr. President, sir. Now, I'm fixing to open a hatch on my little old space capsule and walk out into little old space. I'm just opening the hatch now, and I'm just getting out now. Wait a minute. There's someone walking through space towards me. He got a yellow band around his space helmet.
I'm sorry, sir, you can't park here. This happens to be a meter zone. I'm afraid I shall have to give you a ticket.
Good gracious, a parking meter attendant in outer space.
Yes, it's costing the American government a fortune in fines. Their last rocket was towed away and they had to go to reclaim it from Kentish Town. Hundreds of the chaps up there. We don't know who's behind them, but we do suspect...
Not Mantovani.
Actually, no. Fiendish Japanese mastermind, Dr. Chu N. Ginsburg.
Go get him, Horne. And with that, the interview was over. He stared at me sternly. I stared at his sternly. Two could play at that game, then he stood up and offered me a limp hand.
Have a limp hand.
Well, thanks, I've already got two. With that, I hailed a passing announcer and told him to get me there. Smith.
Sir, outside a certain house in Harley Street some seconds later.
Oh, thank you, and take this for your trouble. 2 teaspoonfuls after meals.
Oh, bless you, kind sir. You're one of nature's idiots.
Thank you. And with that, he shot off rapidly in the opposite direction.
Later, second, some street Harley in house certain outside.
Don't build your parts up, Smith. I went up the bell and rang the steps.
Come in. I am Carlotta, Dr. Chuen Ginsberg's receptionist.
Well, I'd like to see the doctor.
One moment.
Oh, thank you. Do I get that under the national health?
I believe in giving the patients a warm reception.
I eyed Carlotta speculatively. My glance travelled from head to foot, stopping at all stations. I pressed her against me roughly. Roughly 10 minutes it was. Her voice came in a husky question mark.
Here, are you wearing corset?
No, it's my shoulder holster.
Take me, I'm yours.
Oh, really? Oh, just a minute. Smith!
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Distract the audience's attention for a few minutes, will you?
My pleasure, sir.
No, mine, actually.
As you say, sir, 4 weeks, 2 days later.
4 weeks, 2 days? Why 4 weeks?
Rehearsal, sir. Everything's worth
Yes,
doing.
I see what you mean.
Sometime later, Special Agent Horne raced clumsily down the stairs to the fiendish doctor's lair in the basement.
Come in. Sir. I can't say this rubbish. No drama. These writers give me any old nonsense that comes into their heads. All this, It's a disgrace.
Well, they're probably tired. It's the end of the series.
You want to get shot of them. You want to get shot of the pair of them. Get someone decent for next year. Get that Frank Muir and Christine Norden. Very good. Or that Gallstone and Simpkins, or whatever they call themselves. They'd service me properly. I need to be serviced. They could make me into a child star. I could be a child star. I could be the brightest orb in the showbiz firmament. I could be. Nobody loves me. They don't love me. It's not fair. It's not just.
You all right now?
Yes. Yes, I've got it out now. I'm much better. Oh, I can't. Look, let's skip all that rubbish. Let's get straight to the tack. Sir Horne, you have cornered me at last, but I still have one trick up my sleeve. You see this phial of noxious and bubbling liquid? Mm-hmm. I am about to drink it, and then you will see what you will see.
And as I watched, he drained the glass, and then slowly and inexorably he changed before my uncomprehending eyes into a striped blazer and a straw hat. Then quickly blacking up his face, he leapt onto the table and... All right, we'll let you know.
All right. See me no more. It's too high.
And with that, he leapt onto the back of a passing George Mitchell, joined the black and white minstrels, and was never seen alive again. So at least, for the time being, we've heard the last of...
Dr. Chuen Ginsberg, M.A., failed. Goodbye.
Goodbye. And now, here are the Fraser Hayes Four to sing you a track from their new LP, the Charlie Katz Novelty Sextet at the Newport Jazz Festival. The Fraser Hayes Four.
Love, it's time for love. Every little thing is fine for love. Love, it's time for love. Every little thing is right for love. But this can't be love because I feel so well. No sobs, no sorrows, no sighs. This can't be love. I get no dizzy spell. My head is not in the skies. My heart does not stand still, just hear it beat. This is too sweet to be love. This can't be love because I feel so well, but still I love to look in your eyes. Love, love, it's time for love. Every little thing is fine for love. Love, love, it's time for love. But I'm so confused today. No, this can't be love, 'cause I feel so well. No tears, no sorrows, no sobs and sighs. No, this can't be love. Get no dizzy spell, 'cause my head is not in the skies. My heart does not stand still, just hear it beat. This is too sweet to be love. This can't be love, because I feel so well, but still I love to look. Love to look. Love to look in your eyes.
And now, trends.
This is the part of the show for the trendy with it pace setters, the people who dig the kinks and consider themselves far out. And if you don't dig the kinks and think they're merely a lot of pimply adolescent scruffs, then you're not far out. First, trends in pop music. In the studio, we have the man who handles so many of these pop stars, Ozzy Mutterbucket. Now, Mr. Mutterbucket, how do you go about discovering these groups?
Well, take my group, The What?
Surely you mean The Who?
No, my group are called The What.
Oh.
And when you've seen him, you'll understand why. They come on stage with their long, matted, greasy hair hanging over their faces, you see. Scruffy, shapeless army surplus clothes. Then they leap about like demented tramps, shouting in a hoarse, tuneless manner. Ooh, they bring the place down. Of course, I had to work on them, you know, I had to work on them. Change their image. Yes, I even changed the name.
What were they called before?
The Beverly Sisters.
Thank you, Ozzy Mutterbucket. And now, still on the subject of pop music, we are heartily delighted to welcome once again the doyen of folk singers, Rambling Sid Rumpo.
Well, now, me dear, fuss it, and a doodle down my dillio.
Yes, well, I'd rather you didn't, if you don't mind. What are you going to sing us this week, Rambling Sid?
I'm going to sing an 18th century courting song which tells the story of a country lass who sings to her soldier sweetheart, "Oh, soldier, soldier, when shall we be wed? For I am tired of the single life, and besides, the neighbours are starting to talk. And I can't keep on telling them you've come to read the gas meter." And he answers, "Oh, winsome maid, oh, pretty maid, fain would I make thee my wife, oh, but we cannot be wed, for I have no boots to put on." So she goes and buys him a pair of fine boots, and then she sings, "Oh, soldier, soldier, when shall we be wed?" And he sings, "Fain would I make thee my wife, oh, but I have no trousers to put on." So she gets him a fine pair of trousers, and then she sings, "Soldier, soldier, when shall we be wed?" And he sings, "Hang on a minute, I can't get these fine trousers over my boots. And anyway, I can't marry thee, as I have no belt." So she gives him one. And he goes. And as he runs off, he sings this stirring martial strain. "Fare thee well, my apple-cheeked Betty, oh, fare thee well, oh, fare thee well, for I'm off to fight my country's foes, so dry your eyes and wipe your nose. Nose, oh, nose, oh, for I'm off to be a dragoon."
And thank you, Rambling Sid Rumpo. Now, trends in the cinema. The nostalgia for the 30s continues, and this week at the National Film Theatre they're showing a revival of that great classic love story, Forbidden Encounter, starring Celia Mole Strangler and Binky Huckaback.
Oh, Fiona, this heat. I can't stand it any longer. This interminable heat is enough to drive a man out of his mind.
Steady, Charles. You're losing your grip.
Can't stand it any longer. I can't. I can't! Thank you, Fiona. I deserve that. Oh, darling Fiona.
Darling Charles.
Darling, darling Fiona.
Darling, darling, darling Charles.
Holding you like this, I feel something I don't quite understand.
I don't quite understand it either. And yet, I sense it. Somehow.
I somehow sense it too.
I'm glad you sense it. It makes it better. For both of us. Somehow. Knowing.
I know.
I know you know.
I know you know, I know.
Yes, I know. Oh, Charles. What's wrong?
I don't know. Just this damned heat. Oh, Fiona, how I hate having to meet you furtively like this. Suppose someone were to find us out.
Who would ever think of looking for us here in this damp, steamy hell? Charles. Charles, there's someone there, crouching behind that palm tree. See, there, that small, swarthy man in a loincloth. Look, he's coming over.
It's all right, Fiona. I'll handle him. I speak his language, you know. All right. What do you want, you grinning devil?
Governor's respect, sir, but he says ladies aren't allowed in the Turkish bars of a Monday.
Ah, they knew how to make films in those days, didn't they? They just didn't bother. Trends in the theatre. When I saw an advertisement in the stage which said, "New West End management wants avant-garde plays by unknown authors," I thought, well, I'll give it a try. So I went along to this place in Shaftesbury Avenue. Boner Productions, it was called. Hello, anybody there?
Hello, I'm Julian. This is my friend Sandy. We're Boner Productions. Sam, look what the wind's blown in.
Shut up, hold on a minute, Jewel, I'm on the phone. Hello, Noel? No, it's Sandy here. How was your opening in Brighton? No, I'm sorry, Noel. No, Noel, Jewel and I were devastated we couldn't get down. No, you see, we had to go for drinks with Emily. Of course, you knew now, Emily. Emily Littler. Hey? Oh, is he? Oh, that would explain why he was so cool. Yes. But listen, we hope the show went well. Yeah. Right, bye, Noel.
Noel card?
No, Noel Tramwicket. She does the Punch and Judy on the beach. It's one of our shows, you know. We do a lot of summer seasons, don't we, Jewel?
Oh, yes. We do the Minehead merry-go-round, Frolics of Frinton, and then this year we're hoping to do Twinkle on the Pier at Yarmouth.
Yeah. Good day. Oh, good day.
But mainly, of course, we're a West End management, you know, avant-garde plays and that stuff.
Yes, yes, well, that's what I came to see you about. I've written a play and I thought you might like to put it on. It's a simple little farce set in a country house in Berkshire.
No, Berkshire, no.
Country house? Oh, it's naff. No. Make it a slum tenement in Salford.
Yes, but wouldn't that make the butler rather out of place?
We can't be doing butlers in modern plays. Make him a tramp, like in The Caretaker.
Look, why can't we make him an Inca? Like the Royal Hunt of the Sun. Inca's very in at the moment.
Compromise, Jewel, compromise. Make him an Inca tramp.
Yeah.
Yes, now, Mr. Horne, you say you've got this Inca tramp living in a slum in Salford.
Oh.
Now, that stimulated me. I don't mind admitting it. Yes, I'm getting worked up. That's pregnant with overtones, isn't it, Jewel?
Oh, yes.
Got the overtones.
Now then, where's the hidden menace?
Oh, the hidden menace.
Yes. I've got it. Slowly, the whole cast changes into rhinoceroses. See it? And when it's happened, they all get dressed as Pierrots and sing songs from the Great War for about 5 hours.
Oh, it's fave, isn't it? Oh, I like it. It's of now.
Now?
Oh, it's now. I can see it. A troop of rhinoceroses dragged up. All dragged up as Pierrots. Trolling about this Salford slum. And all of them singing Keep the Empires Burning, yeah. I think that's got the ingredients for success.
All there.
It's Ionesco's Rhinoceros, Royal Hunt of the Sun, Oh, What a Lovely War, and A Taste of Honey.
Well, it sounds as if it can't miss. Now, what shall I call it?
What else can you call it? Oh, what a lovely royal taste of the rhinoceros.
So, there we are. Finally, in trends, we've noticed a recent and healthy trend away from satire back towards the solid British virtues, honour, decency and patriotism. And to celebrate this welcome trend, here's a patriotic song that I composed myself, in which I shall be supported by the massed voices of the entire cast. People say the nation is fertangle, that we're decimate for underquain. How can this be when all around we see the cornel men expunging this refrain? Frind not your name with stone, let the paean triumphant ride. No one shall staunch alone, Drayman is on your side. See the Grosson pouring through the past, hear the Timballs shouting out, he's grassed! Courage to England's blown. Threaten the empire wide. Now all together, please. Write not your name with stone. Let the beard will triumphant ride. No one shall staunch alone. England is on your side. See the Grosson pouring through the past. Hear the Timballs shouting out, the grass. Courage to England's blow. Rattle the empire wide. It makes you feel sort of humble, doesn't it? Well, now, as this is the last programme of the present series, the producer came to me just before the show and asked me to give a short speech thanking everybody concerned for their wonderful work throughout the whole series. The cast, the orchestra, the writers, the technicians. And he asked me if I would thank them and say what a happy team we were and what a marvellous audience you've been and what great fun we've had during these past 16 weeks. And he asked me if I'd just make a short speech mentioning all those things. And I said, no. Cheerio. See you next year.
That was Here's Round the Horne, starring Kenneth Horne.
It's a disgrace. He's held me back. I could have been a star. I could have been a star.
With whom we would like to couple Kenneth Williams.
It's a disgrace.
The talented and lovely Hugh Paddick.
With a smile and a smile.
And who among us is not thrilled to the pulchritudinous charms of Miss Betty Marsden?
Many times.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be upstanding for the irrepressible, the inimitable, the unforgettable, what's his name again?
God, Bill Pertwee, currently appearing at the Pier Pavilion, Yokohama.
On the musical side, you heard the Fraser Hayes Four and the Hornblowers, conducted by Edwin Braden.
Right, airy fool.
The script was written by Barry Cooke and Marty Feldman, spinsters of this parish. Your announcer has been exciting newcomer, Douglas Smith. And the whole sordid enterprise has been grossly mismanaged by John Simmons, who pleads the headache.
Get out!